first point of the season, but probably a bit disappointed in your first win.
Yeah, I spoke to the girls after the game, and we thought we did enough to win. We had more shots, we had more crosses, we had more entries into the penalty box. It's going to have to be something we continue to work on and just get more clinical but more composed. I think we get into those moments and like try and lash at the ball or lose our instincts a little bit, and that probably happens when you're not scoring heaps of goals. But yeah, I thought, you know, we wanted to start the year against Western Sydney building and not losing, and that was one for us today. I think when you look at their goal, we switched off in a transitional moment and you get punished, and that happened to us this whole season. So it's up to us just to keep everybody kind of concentrated the whole time. But I think when I look at that second half, and especially us pushing and pushing and pushing, shows kind of the heart of the team, that we're not happy. We've lost games, but we're not happy with just a point. We want to go for the win, and that's something that we're going to be trying to build on for sure.
Are you disappointed that you didn't win this? Because I guess both teams have been targeting this as a game to get kick-start the season.
Yeah, I think we did enough to win it. I don't think anyone would have had any complaints if we did win it, but I'm more happy that we didn't lose. Getting a point helps us build. We wanted to start the new year continuing to build, and more points will come.
You look front three with Natalie getting her first start, and Nikki getting her first goal. What do you make of their performances? Because obviously, football fans were missed.
Yeah, I think you know, we tasked Millie with just simplifying her game a little bit and just going 1v1 and using her pace, and I think she did that, and she's going to cause wherever she plays, whether she comes on or whether she starts, she's going to cause defenders problems. So if we can keep developing her how we want to, get her understanding the game a little bit more, she's going to help us cause some problems for sure. And Mickey, you know, I thought she had a bit of a slow start to the game, getting back into it, but then she showed her pace, she showed her fire, she showed why she deserves to be playing in this league and professionally. And yeah, I'm sure, you know, as players like Millie and Mickey keep stepping up, it will give Yetka some good headaches moving forward.
Yeah, and so with that, are you still happy to release some players to close their squads? We're going to be announced in the next week or so. Are you still happy to release some players for that? How's the balancing act with your game play?
Yeah, I described it as like a 3D jigsaw puzzle. Lots of pieces that we're trying to fit together so that we're not compromised. But also the girls really want to be part of these games. It's such a huge year for them, especially the girls that are maybe on the fringes. It's a really, really big year for them to keep performing for us, but put their hand up for that World Cup squad. So I've had really good chats with the club and with Yetka, and we're pretty happy with the balance we've put together. With it being in New Zealand, it makes it a little bit easier for us. A Perth game away doesn't make it as easy as it could have been, but we're definitely trying to get the best of a lot of worlds, so nothing's majorly compromised, whilst making sure that we're not overloading the players.
Did you look at possibly rearranging fixtures?
There was one that was kind of requested, but it actually would have not helped us out at all. It would have made, it was moving the Canberra game to midweek, but it would have made our turnaround between Canberra to Brisbane really, really tight, and I think it wasn't. A lot of A-League clubs have chosen not to release players, and that's their prerogative. I think it's a shame that players can't play for their country, but it's also games within a non-FIFA window, so yeah, it's a hard one for sure. One that we probably would have preferred not to have dealt with, but yeah, we're pretty content with what we've made decisions on.
Given the strength of the US side, the fact that it can now be close to full strength, I mean, do you fear for what could be a couple of pretty ugly scorelines possibly?
Yeah, I think playing against the US is always hard. I think when Yetka names her squad, she should have enough experience to kind of deal with that mental side, and then it will be who can step up. If you can step up against the States, then you can step up against anyone. So I think it's hard. It's always a hard ask playing against the US. But what I know from Yetka and from her staff is she's like super diligent with how she wants to play, and I'm sure she'll have them set up well and really motivate the players coming in to be like, this is your chance to grab a shirt and grab a spot in this home World Cup, because come May it's really all about that, isn't it? So yeah, hard but exciting, I think, for some of the players that are getting a chance.
You talked today's game about a little lack of composure and that sort of thing. Is that experience? I mean, because most of them are playing the second season and there's a bit more experience there now, so was the composure perhaps just sort of missing?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of it is experience and just being in those moments more. I think we just have to, we're doing a lot of work on kind of finishing in messy situations. Everyone seems to quite like the ball just to be set up perfectly for them to rattle the top corner, and that's not quite reality. As I said yesterday, we had Chris Greenacre come out and do some work with us, and if I keep being really nice to him, he'll probably help us out a little bit more just with that. You know, he told me he made his career out of messy finishes, and I think that's what we need to take our chance. Like, we take in touches in the box when we can just shoot and see what happens. We did create more today, and that's what we wanted. So if we add that bit of composure and we're creating more and more and more, then I'm sure we'll start hitting the back of the net more often than not.
Is it just looking for others to perhaps finish and that sort of thing, rather than just having the confidence themselves to?
I think it's trying to find like the perfect pass, the perfect opportunity. I've asked our front three in particular be a bit more selfish. And you know, that's a real strength for someone like Millie. It's like she's more often than not going to shoot, and she's got a great shot on her, and the same with Ava. So it's just we're working on just putting them in those situations more, so that it feels less daunting, and they're not thinking ahead to like the goal. It's just a strike. You're just striking it. If it goes in the goal, then that's great. So we'll keep working on that with them, and the more opportunities we create, the more chances we've got that to work on that as well. So yeah, definitely something big for us to be continuing with. We created a lot today, so we have to put those chances away. We have to beat these teams.
How close were Paige and Emma to playing today, and could either play next week?
Yeah, super close. Paige hopefully next week, if not definitely Perth. Rolo will be back next week. Yeah, she was just suffering from an illness and wouldn't have quite recovered and had the energy to have played and performed. And Paige is just a bit of a minor knee. We tried to get her doing some stuff yesterday, but it's just too much of a niggle. We have quite a short turnaround, so that's always something that we've got to take into consideration too. So we'll work with, she's doing some work tomorrow with Susie. So we'll kind of see how she progresses throughout the week, but yeah, not too far away. Kate and Lily are knocking on the door too, so you look at the players not involved in the game today, and they can all add. So the squad, when we get fully fit, will be super competitive for spots, and people have to perform, and that includes putting the ball in the back of the net.
What have you made of having Lily up in the crowd, barking instructions every game? We sort of hear her right by the media box.
I think she's great. She adds so much. She often get in conversation with her before the game, being like, where can I go where no one's going to disturb me? And I want to be heard. But I think one of the beauties of having this standalone fixture, I know that there's pros and cons to it, but we really, we've got our supporters that come and see us, but those ones that start to come to watch the men and they come and see us a bit earlier, the crowd was so good today, and you could see that it adds to the players. It gave us, especially that last 10 minutes, that spur to the want to win. We weren't happy with just a point. We wanted to go on and win, and that drives Lily out as well. So I think there's a few pros, but she's great. She's such a leader, whether she's on the field or not.